Time for what?
Time for what?
Experience in college.
Time for reinforcement.
Time for liftoff!
Where nothing is impossible unless you think it is impossible.
College.
I have my college scholarship.
Yes.
Boom.
College ran by real fast.
You hung in with the best college.
Touchdown!
First time for everything.
Well, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
Let's do this thing.
Genius, let's do this thing!
I'm Mr. Lorenzo. I'm one of the college counselors, and I'm joined with my co-host, Miss Stephanie Wong, and pass the mic over to Miss Wong, and she'll let us know what's going to be happening next.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Lorenzo. We thank you for just diving into the process and wanting to learn more from our esteemed panelists. Really meant to be informative and just provide more insight, the college process, and also how it's maybe like shifted during the pandemic, right? We'll talk about different topics, which Mr. Lorenzo will facilitate in just a little bit with our panelists. So we are so blessed this evening to have three wonderful panelists with us, and they are really at the highest level of administration at their institution, right? So they can answer some really tough questions for us, and we're really glad to have them with us. We have Nikki Chun. She is at the University of Hawaii, Manoa. She is the VP of Enrollment Management there. So thank you, Nikki, for being with us. And then next we have Andrew Palumbo. He is also the Vice President of Enrollment Management. And he is, I'm going to say it in the Bostonish way, Worcester Polytechnic Institute, WPI, as it is for short, which I will use from this webinar on. And then we have Falone Serna. He is also the VP of Enrollment Management at Whittier College in Los Angeles, California. So I am going to turn the mic over to them, and they are going to introduce themselves, their institution, and then also they are going to address a misconception about their school. So I will hand it over to Nikki.
Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Patrick, for including me, inviting me, especially to share this time and space with the SI community and my colleagues. So my name is Nikki Chun. My pronouns are she, her, oya, and I identify as a Native Hawaiian and Chinese, cisgender, hetero, able-bodied woman of size. As a first in my family to go to college, my identity as a first generation college student, I think I've carried well through my time in education. I started my admissions career at my alma mater, the University of Miami in Florida. And after working there for several years, I worked at University in Houston, Texas for a few years. And then I was offered an incredible opportunity at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, California, also known as Caltech. And I served as the director of admission there for just under 2 years. I was there for a total of 6. And I started here at the University of Hawaii at Manoa last year, September. I'm originally from here. So the family joke, it sort of came to full circle, was that I left here and went as far as I could for college without leaving the US. Slowly made my way back west, and here I am again. It's an incredible journey. And I think a lot about when I was a sophomore, junior in high school, and when people would talk about my college, the idea of college, it felt both like overwhelming, but also inspiring because, there were things that I didn't think would be possible. And all of a sudden, like, here I am in this like amazing career. A misconception about my school, I'll have to say that it's a little interesting thinking about people's perception of Hawaii, and that the idea of paradise can actually get in the way of being taken seriously. So there are students who think that, you come here for surfing. And I mean, that's not untrue. I hope wherever you go for college, you're going to enjoy the location. But I definitely have been interested in watching how students have responded to or reacted to this idea of like Hawaii paradise higher ed. And I think there is a world where it's very true. And so I'm really looking forward to getting to know this better. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Andrew, would you mind going next?
Sure. So I'll get started. My name is Andy Palumbo. I'm Vice President for Enrollment at Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Worcester, Massachusetts. And so really thrilled to be here with you all tonight. It is 9:30 at night. So if you see me like starting to nod, I'm kidding. I'm not going to nod off. Super excited to be here. And we were just talking about how cool it is that, I could participate in something like this and then, be home rather than having that brutal red eye flight home. So Really excited to be here, and I really wanted to just tell a little bit about WPI. So WPI is a selective STEM institution. We're a university of about 5,000 undergraduates, 2,000 graduate students, and really our focus is kind of unique. We try to blend theory and practice with a focus on impact in the world around us. And so, we have a distinctive curriculum called the WPI Plan, which for over 50 years has sort of been our way of delivering our education in a unique way. And so there's a whole host of things that are a little bit different than some of our peer institutions, not better, not worse, just a different way to approach it. So WPI, we have a fast-paced 7-week term system where students take 3 courses at a time. They have 4 terms throughout the year. We also have a non-punitive grading system. So we have a real focus on collaboration, on teams, and on project work. And so we don't want students competing for grades. So students can get an A, a B, a C, or a no record in NR. So a very engineering way to look at things is that you just haven't completed it yet. And so you can't get a plus, a minus. Really the focus there is that, the experience is as important, if not more important than, the grades that you receive. We also are global in nature. So we have over 50 global project centers in the world where our students, about 90% of our students will do some of their project work at one of these global project centers. And they do so in sustainable ways to address really distinct challenges, human-centered challenges in the world that don't have easy solutions. And so I think one of the things that really draws students to a place like WPI is the fact that, by the time you graduate, you're already having real world experience, solving problems that your professors don't have answers to, and doing so in collaboration with people within different communities, different cultures, in ways that are both sustainable and adding to the educational experience of our students and the individuals they collaborate with. And so I guess a couple distinct things that we'll probably talk about, one or both of these at some point tonight, is WPI is test free. We don't consider standardized test scores, whether students have taken them or not. If they're sent in, we won't consider them. And so the reason behind that is that standardized test scores have, longstanding problematic correlations with family income, race and ethnicity, gender. And those are some of the things that we're trying to de-emphasize in the process. And I think the reason why the vast majority of schools are test optional and likely to stay test optional or test free. And the other piece is that we don't have an application fee. We eliminated that a couple of years ago because we saw it as a barrier for students. The biggest misconception, I guess, I would share is, many of you are probably like, what's WUSTA? Where's WPI? And so I think that when we're out on the West Coast, I think that our name recognition has lagged behind our recognition in industry. And so, our students are having incredible internships, co-ops and jobs for, places like Boeing, SpaceX, Tesla, NASA. So, our students are getting great experience, but we did start off as a school that was more regional in the Northeast. And so as we're out in California, it definitely is something that I'm guessing many of you, it's the first time you've heard of WPI. So happy to be here. And thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And then last but definitely not least, we have Philone, and I will let you introduce yourself.
Philone Cerna with Whittier College. Again, I appreciate the invite to joining this esteemed panel. A little bit about myself. So I'm into starting my 3rd year with Whittier. Prior to Whittier, I've had stops at University of La Verne, which is my alma mater, as well as Harvey Mudd College. So the 3 of us here are definitely about that STEM life. So I was at Harvey Mudd College for a while in Claremont. I was also at Reed College up in Portland, Oregon. And then right before I was at Whittier College, I was at Pepperdine University. So all private institutions, but very different. It's given me kind of a unique scope as far as this process goes for prospective students and families. But I'm representing Whittier College. We are a liberal arts school in Southern California. For those of you who may be familiar or maybe not so familiar with it down there, we're kind of smack dab in the middle. So we're in Los Angeles County, one of the few liberal arts colleges in LA County, but we're kind of smack dab in the middle in between like downtown Los Angeles and downtown Disney, about 20 miles each way. So we're in a really great location for, things to do, but also job and internship opportunities, and our students definitely take advantage of that. So a lot of folks are drawn by our location, but a lot of folks are also drawn by our size. We're currently at about 1,500 students. So we offer an intimate academic experience as primarily an undergraduate college. All of the focus, resources, faculty time, everything is really devoted to our students. So if you're really looking for that hands-on experience, an opportunity to get engaged with research, or really just to make sure you're working directly with a faculty member as opposed to teachers, assistants, and things like that, a place like Whittier could be a great option for you. You know, we have over 30 majors. Our popular ones include psychology, business, English, kinesiology, and child development, but a number of different options for you to take advantage of across the board. In addition to being a great liberal arts college, very active community, over 70 clubs and organizations. We're NCAA Division III for athletics. We have one of the more unique mascots in the country. We're the Fighting Poets. So it's kind of a bizarro. The mascot looks like a Benjamin Franklin looking dude, but great Division III athletics, all the standard teams. We're actually, I believe, the only school in California and one of the few in the Western region that has men's lacrosse at the Division III level. So that's a cool distinction, but your football, basketball, soccer, softball, all of that. So great opportunities there across the board. The other thing that Whittier is really noted for is our diversity. So that's something that's really important to us. We reflect the population that we exist in LA County. So the diversity that you would expect to find when you come down to Southern California, you're going to get at Whittier College, and not just with the students, but with the staff and even our faculty as well. And so that's something that we're really proud of. And we've been nationally recognized for our diversity as well. We were one of the early schools that were given a pretty generous gift from Mackenzie Scott. And so that was that got us some recognition, and we're a Hispanic serving institution. So not only will you get a great education inside of the class, but you'll also get a great learning experience being around individuals who come from different backgrounds and perspectives than you do. We're primarily in state, but probably about 35% of our students come from out of state too. So we've got a good representation and plenty for you to learn outside of the class. And in terms of misconceptions about Whittier, I'd say that a big part of it has to do, so I'll give two. One, Whittier is traditionally a Quaker school. Also, we're home to, we have a distinction of being one of the few schools that graduated a president. So Richard Nixon graduated from Whittier, which I'm sure at some point would probably give us some street credit. Maybe he still does with some folks, but people have a preconceived notion about what Whittier might be like because of our Quaker heritage and background, which I think is a positive, but I would say it's not particularly religious, or, we actually don't have any like religious requirements or direct connection with that. It's more so about the heritage of what the Quakers represented that still exists today. The other misconception, though, that I would say, and it's sort of in line with what Andrew talked about at WPI, but, sometimes folks assume that smaller colleges, smaller institutions mean smaller opportunities. And, in some areas, maybe we don't offer as much as some of the larger research institutions. But in terms of like what your academic experience can be and opportunities, I would almost say it's the opposite. Again, I go back to the fact that if you're the type of student that's looking to get, actively engaged with your work and not just be in a classroom or a larger lecture hall, places like Whittier are a great option because we get you hands-on learning in the labs, using equipment, whatever the case may be in your discipline from your first year on. And then, there is a misconception that liberal arts colleges don't care about or are not a good investment for folks who are looking to get into industry outside of after they graduate. But we definitely are very active in making sure our students are connected to the local area, not just with the city of Los Angeles, but LA and Orange County. Plenty of opportunities to get engaged with internships and opportunities, and some of our programs require it. So we definitely care about outcomes and what you do after you graduate. Certainly certainly if you want to continue with academia and get a master's or PhD, we're great for that. But we're also great for students who are looking to get right into the industry after college.
Great. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves and addressing misconceptions. I think this allows families to get to know your institution much better beyond, what they can find online and things that they hear from word of mouth. So I really appreciate that. I am now going to hand it over to Patrick, who is going to facilitate sort of our question and panelist time.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wong. All right. So we had so many great questions come through on the registration. So Ms. Wong